I'm sure all my friends back home, my family back home in Virginia too, are saying just that about Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin this week after he decided yesterday to veto legislation for cannabis, officially killing a 3-year Republican led stall to open the market. Politico's Mona Zhang reported that the Commonwealth state has allowed adults over 21 to possess and cultivate cannabis at home since the legislature was passed and legalization legislation in 2021. But the law required another vote to be implemented for commercial sales, which failed after Republicans won the House of Delegates later that year. Youngkin said in his veto statement that the proposed legislation of retail marijuana in the Commonwealth endangers Virginia's health and safety. Also does not eliminate illegal black market sale of cannabis nor guarantee product safety. Pro-legalization advocates were hopeful that a marijuana legislation bill would make it to the finish line this year after Democrats won back the House of Delegates last November. While Youngkin has historically opposed the efforts to liberalize marijuana laws, as we reported earlier this week here at High 9 News, the marijuana sales bill was poised to be used as a bargaining chip by Democrats in budget negotiations over one of Youngkin's top priorities, a $2 billion stadium deal to bring the Washington Capitals and the Wizards to Northern Virginia. The stadium deal ultimately fell through as well. Zhang noted that earlier this month, the final budget enacted by Virginia's legislature did not contain funding for the Glen Dome, as Democratic Senate Finance and Appropriations Chair Senator Louise Lucas dubbed the project. Pro-legalization advocates still believed they had a chance to negotiate with the governor ahead of the legislature's April 17th veto session. But on Wednesday, the city of Alexandria said a proposal to develop the arena there will not move forward. Democratic delegate Paul Kryzak led the lead sponsor of the weed marketplace bill, blasted the governor's veto, saying that Governor Youngkin's failure to act allows an already thriving illegal cannabis market to persist, fueling criminal activity and endangering our communities. This veto squandered a vital opportunity to safeguard Virginians and will only exacerbate the proliferation of illicit products, posing greater risks to our schools and public safety. All right, y'all. This one's a little personal, because I'm from Virginia. I've been trying to be there for my people back there, but it's also why I don't live in Virginia anymore. Backwards shit like this, petty shit like this. There's the same Glenn Youngkin that was voted in, claiming to be a pro-business governor, but the only deals that he looked to move forward on the first 3 years in office stood to benefit himself, his close friends and colleagues. The same dude that said he'd worked tirelessly to protect Virginia's children, but chose to focus on petty bullshit like changing the nation's first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office's name to Diversity, Opportunity, and Inclusion because woke words like equity to him are toxic and are poisoning the minds of Virginia's youth. The same bum that had 2 years of his homies running the show, controlling both chambers, and nothing came of it but chaos and disarray. So much that it led to landslide midterm losses and a complete loss of power back to the Democrats. And he was even offered by the Democrats this week that are now in charge an extra $1 million to his own general fund to get this Weed for the People bill passed. He could have used that money to make things better in his own way. While it was sitting on his desk awaiting his signature, he bragged about not planning on signing it to the press. Yeah. At an event in Chesapeake last week, he said that he had somebody ask him the other day if he was going to sign the legislation. And his response, I've been talking about this for 60 days, and I said, anyone who thinks I'm going to sign that legislation must be smoking something. He thinks this shit's a game. He thinks it's a joke. Glenn Youngkin has shown the people of Virginia who he is. He's a loser. And I know that there is a vice president spot still up for grabs under his personal petty loser heroes presidential campaign. Maybe that's a better fit. Glenn Youngkin's personal choice to prioritize his own petty beefs over the will of the people is not what Virginia needs. I'm Rico Lamite, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. Hear what you guys think about this.
I mean, did any of us really expect him to sign this bill in the first place? I didn't. You know, I did think that the stadium deal was a good pressure point that the Democrats used to get him to move towards this bill. But it seems as though those efforts were unsuccessful.
Yeah, it's sad. The people are losing, and you put this guy in office thinking that, you know, he's pro-business. And then he had 2 years. His first 2 years, he didn't get shit done. And he lost both chambers of the House. And the people that have heard, you know, women in the state, because he wanted to be anti women's rights. All the cannabis folks that would have been behind him, like, he didn't get that done either. And he's not doing shit, man. He's just trying to push forward projects that are the vanity projects for himself. And the people of Virginia are just losing because
cannabis continues to be bought and sold. Benefits. There's no return to the communities. There's no tax dollars. It's a true waste, and that's all I can even say, because you said it all so well, Rico.
Oh, look at that.
Well, there's a certain group of people in Virginia who are winning, and those are the trappers.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
Yep.
They're going to continue to win.
Exactly.
Continue to win.
You know, where is it? Hold on a second. Let me pull this back up. Brian Dambrowski, he said at the beginning of the show, he said, now is the time for the Virginia hemp side to file for an injunction and get their products back on the shelves. They just need to file the right injunction or right jurisdictions this time, he says. What do you think about that, Rico? Hemp.
Maybe.
Shopping is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Delta 8 is going to be winning.
Delta 8. That's what the trap survives.
You guys will hear in my story, which is relating to something going on in Minnesota, where they're trying to merge the markets. Right. It seems like they recognize that the hemp derived materials are serving a certain need in the cannabis market. And I think these regulators need to, you know, take off their rose-colored glasses and see the landscape as it exists today, which is that people want to get high, and they want to use that as an alternative to alcohol and other things. So, you know, anything they can do to sort of level the playing field, I think, between these two sides of the industry, because let's face it, all that unregulated stuff is just going to keep going unless they figure, you know, how to sensibly regulate it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in you know, in the we can talk about bipartisanship. You know, this isn't. I don't mean to like rag on Republicans or anything, because the Republicans in Ohio, they compromised. You know, you have the will of the people that are pushing something forward. You find a way to get stuff done. Mm-hmm. And this is not the way. This is not it.
What's even worse, Rico, Virginia, the Commonwealth is I think the only one I can think of all the states that did adopt the failed federal policy of Schedule 1 for cannabis. And so there's even, you know, the only folks that seem to be winning are the enforcement, like law enforcement, that were still busting people and killing people, and prohibition is still alive and well in the Commonwealth of Virginia, clearly.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on this, Dr. T?
Yeah, you know, when 70% of the people support medical cannabis and 90% want to decriminalize it, and your role as a legislator is to listen to the people, and what you do instead is use cannabis as a political football. It's just a shame, you know. I just imagine all the people that are getting hurt by it. But you know, we've come a long way. On the flip side, we've come a long way. You know, it's not that far to DC, and you know. Keep it going until we get these guys to stop playing with our livelihood.
There is a story that came out yesterday that we didn't cover that involved this when the Governor Youngkin announced that he did not plan on signing this bill, and to which he stated, if you guys thought I was going to sign this, you guys are definitely smoking something. That's
part of my story.
Yeah. Like I appreciated that. I thought that was like, I mean, I never expected him to sign it in the first place, but you know what I mean? I'm not. I do find his comments amusing,
but it's not funny. It's not funny though. Yeah, it's not funny because people are hurting. People are losing access to medicine, and this bill was fucking passed 3 years ago, man.
You know who's going to eat Virginia's lunch?
They're turning opiates instead,
Maryland.
Which is killing people. And what about our veterans? I mean, this is offensive on so many levels. I'm trying not to get all hot.
Oh, she's getting all hot and bothered.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I tried my best to taper down my emotion with this one, but this is stupid. Like at this point, like it would be a win for him, even if he had this bill and changed it all up to be more favorable for the Republicans. Push something forward. You've had 3 years. You had your entire government on your side, and you guys failed to push something forward.
I agree that I agree. I think they should have had a regulated market. They could have had something regulated, more regulated from a Republican standpoint, I would say, than from some other Democratic frameworks. But
it's a failure to negotiate.
He missed. I think he missed a golden opportunity to really have something set up the way that he would want it, with the inevitability that is ultimately is going to get set up. And so I don't know why this mindset of if I don't do it, then it'll never get set up really comes into play, because ultimately the will of the people will survive and will push through.
And he'll be out of office. So he's going to be out of office soon. And somebody else will get a crack at it.
Watch him join an MSO like Boehner. Get out of office, and then he'll join an MSO and be some highly paid goon.
That's funny. But on that, we're going to roll to a commercial. We're going to be right back.